Hello music makers, welcome back to Make the Music, and today we're on to the next part of our mixing from start to finish series. We finally made it to vocals. We've processed everything else so far. You can find those videos on my channel if you want to look on how to process those individual elements, and you can follow along with the mixing series by downloading the tracks down below. Okay, so now let's get into mixing vocals here. So here's our vocal tracks. We've got some leads, we've got some backups here. Let me go to a song where the vocals are. So they sound really rough right now, and that's gonna happen. But the key is, once we get some compression EQ on these vocals, it's really gonna start coming together nicely. So what I'm gonna do is process the bus first, just as I've done with everything else. Let's roll off the unnecessary low end here. Let's find something in the room that maybe is building up in the low mids.
But some never come back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday.
Alright, that's a real muddy frequency. Let's take that out here on a narrow notch.
But some never come back down.
Alright, that's already a lot tighter. Let me add some top.
But some never come back down to earth.
Okay, that is a lot better. Let's add some bus compression. This is pretty common. I'm also going to saturate the vocal a little bit here. But let's compress the whole vocal bus. And really, I'm just trying to kiss it. 2-3 dB. It's just when all the vocals come in, I don't want to feel like this big swell is coming in and it's jumping out of the track. I really want to keep that contained, but not squash the dynamics completely. So modern vocal.
But some never come back down to earth. Logan left on.
That's already helping immensely.
But some never come back down to earth. Logan left on.
Yeah, like I said, that's already helping quite immensely here. So I'm going to move on to lead vocal processing. I might add something there like a reverb at the end. But for right now, we're going to move on to the lead vocals here. So I have a lead verse vocal, and then I have some chorus with a double. So this is the lead vocal bus. We kind of already have this processing on the bus, but I just like to dial it in a little better here.
Logan left on a Thursday. Logan left on a
So we got one singular vocal there. Let's compress it.
Logan left on a Thursday. He's never coming. Logan left on a Thursday. He's never coming.
So you see how these quiet parts just really aren't showing up at all. And so that can be fixed with automation, but I do like stacking multiple compressors sometimes on these vocals. So I'm going to stack another compressor here. So those parts, I mean, I probably should have clip gain automated them up, or I will use some automation here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm physically going to raise the volume of those sections so I can get the waveform looking similar here. Yeah, this is going to make my job a lot easier when it comes to using this compressor. Probably something that should be done in the editing phase, but when you're a mix engineer, sometimes you just got to take the liberty and get it done. Okay.
He's never come.
So you can see me troubleshoot in real time here.
Thursday. He's never coming.
That's just going to help a lot.
Thursday. He's never coming back. He took his things and ran. You're never gonna find his bags he got in his car. Police are never gonna find.
Yeah, I like that a lot better. That's working quite well. Okay, on the lead, I definitely want some delay. And I'm going to be using a slap delay here. We want, as Crystal Algae always says, with ambient effects, that you want it to sound cool, but you don't want it that the listener can tell that there's some sort of effect on it. You just want it just enough. And so I'm going to dial in this delay here. Okay, so there's a slap FB preset here.
Logan left on a Thursday. He's never coming back.
I actually like that quite a bit.
Logan left on a Thursday. Shot right at him. Packed his bags and got in his car. Please, sir, never go.
And I might mess with the feedback and this length here.
Him. Packed his bags and got in his car. Please, sir, never go.
Yeah, I'm liking what that's doing. The whole vocal bus, I'm going to add some reverb. Like I said, don't overdo it, but you don't want a vocal completely dry unless that's what you're going for. But for this rock mix, I do want some ambience. I just don't want to overdo it to where the vocal's so washed out that you can't even really hear it clearly.
Him. Packed his bags and got in his car. Police are never gonna find him.
The key with your reverbs too is dialing in this EQ. So I don't want a ton of low, I don't want a ton of high, just want some overall ambience.
Find him. Packed his stage. Shot right out of the sky.
Now that I'm in that mode, I'm just gonna do it for the backups. I know that's like, I should process them before, but I just want to get a vibe for what's going on with these.
Stage. Shot right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly. But some
There we go. Now we're putting the vocals in a space. Things are starting to come together here.
right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly. But some never come back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday. Shot right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly. Logan left on a Thursday.
Okay, now we're really getting somewhere here. I turn down the volumes of these buses, or maybe these individual tracks first, because I was getting a clip on that vocal bus there.
Logan left. Eagles are born to fly. But some never come back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday.
Okay, we're getting real close now. Got EQ. One thing we are going to need to do though is process these backups a little better. I'm going to want to roll more low end off these backups so we don't get a build up.
Logan left on right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly. But some never come back down to earth.
Let's find a background vocal.
Right out of the sky. Eagles are born
I'm not trying to crush these completely because there's already some compression on the bus. So
right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly. Never coming,
okay, that delay's a little too
never
much.
coming,
It's just an iterative process, dialing these things in, dialing them back. It's gonna happen.
never come. That search.
Okay, so we got that same problem. Let's boost these passages here. Like I said, we can use automation later to dial in that volume perfectly. But for right now, it's just easier if we adjust the waveform. Okay. Because that second pass is so quiet. Okay, that's gonna work better.
That search.
Okay, now we're on to the de-essing phase of the vocal. The rule is always de-ess more on the backups. I learned this from Andrew Wade. Because when you have multiple T's and S's and things going on at once, you don't want them to interfere with your lead vocals. So you want to aggressively de-ess your backups here.
I'll never come back down to earth.
4,000 is the frequency, somewhere around there should work.
I'll never come back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday.
There, I can barely hear the S's, that's fine.
Never come back down.
Because the backups are just there to add power and overall, you know, bigness to the vocal, I guess I should say. A choral sound, not really for, you know, tangible discernment of every word or something like that. We're going to do the same thing on the bus, but not as aggressive.
I'll never come back down to earth. Logan left.
Make sure if you're using the Reaper stock de-esser, you set the processing to stereo, or it's going to completely collapse your mix to or your submix to mono there for the vocals.
Back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday.
There, that's working good, but still hitting the S's, and I like one more step when I go to my vocal bus here. There's a multi-band compressor, and what I like to do, and I know this because I've mixed tons of vocals, is the 2K to like 4K range is where the harshness of the vocal is, and it sounds really amateur if it starts to peak through too much. And it's very harsh, especially if you turn up the mix in the car. So I like to deaden this a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want to go overboard with this, and I'll show you why.
Back down to back down to
See how like
back down.
the vocal gets incredibly muffled if you do this too much.
Back down to earth. Logan left on a Thursday. Shot right out of the sky.
So it's just catching the half, 1, 2 dB of that frequency range that spikes up, and it's just enough to keep the harshness out, but not too much that, like I said, where you can like barely hear the vocal. So here's what we got. Let's listen from the beginning.
Logan left on a Thursday. He's never coming back. He took his things and ran. You're never gonna find him. Packed his bags and got in his car. Police are never gonna find him.
Let's go to like a chorus part.
Left on a Thursday. Shot right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly, but some never.
The vocal's clear, it's compressed, it's got some ambient effects, and it's sounding great. So our static mix so far,
Left on a Thursday. Shot right out.
it's sounding pretty good to me. There are some steps left. We got some automation, we got some checks to do in the car, and some other reference checks to do. But so far, if I took all the plugins off the mix,
Logan left on a Thursday. Shot right out of the sky. Eagles are born to fly.
that's the progress we made. I feel like it's pretty good. Like I said, there are still some more steps left there. But yeah, we've done a good job of getting clarity. Remember, we set up our static mix great. So when you set up a static mix excellently, mixing process really becomes very easy. And the vocals weren't that challenging because they were already set up well. The volume was set up well for all the vocals except for maybe these spots here that I had to automate. So you're just adding the processing, and it's sounding good. We still have a few more steps to go. Let me know, what is your process for mixing vocals? What do you do? How's the mixing challenge coming along for you? And I'll see you guys in the next video.